Hey folks, do you really know who created the Akatsuki? Who was truly in charge, and what was the real purpose of the group? Was it just about the Eye of the Moon? Let's dive into it now. The Akatsuki is a criminal organization and one of the most famous and iconic villain groups in the anime world. I dare say they might be the most emblematic villains in anime, because everyone recognizes that red cloud, even if they haven't watched a single episode of Naruto. So, it's worth understanding a bit more or refreshing our memories about who really created the Akatsuki and what it is. We need to start by pointing out that there are practically two different Akatsuki groups. It's like a single organization, but with different ideals and objectives for the same plan: achieving peace. We have the first Akatsuki, led by Yahiko, Konan, and Nagato in the Village of Rain, long before the start of the anime. To understand this, let's talk a bit about the geography of the ninja world. Let's see if you're paying attention at least to that. The ninja world is primarily divided into 5 major countries, each with a ninja village representing that country's military power. For example, the Fire Country has the Leaf Village, the Wind Country has the Sand Village, and so on. However, there's a massive problem in the midst of all this, and it's called the Hidden Village of Rain, or Amegakure in Japanese. The Village of Rain is not within any of the 5 major countries, and as it doesn't belong to any country's territory, it becomes an independent village. Sounds good, right? But it's in the middle of 3 countries, and during the World Wars, the Village of Rain was the main battlefield because it was where the countries met. So it has always been this war-torn scene, with death and destruction in every way for everyone. After the Second Ninja War, the Village of Rain lost the war and was completely messed up. Devastated, guys. That whole country was hell on earth, where most people had died in tragic and cruel ways. It was after the war's end that Jiraiya took in the Orphans of the Rain, who formed Nagato's team. After training Nagato, Konan, and Yahiko thoroughly, they ended up creating the first Akatsuki. The red cloud symbolized the rain and the blood from all the deaths and suffering in the village. However, the village's leader was Hanzo, like the Kage of the Village of Rain, only much more isolated. When the Third Ninja War arrived, things started getting worse. Yahiko's Akatsuki was like a revolutionary group, aiming to rise to power and change the village's situation for everyone. They couldn't let Hanzo handle things anymore, escalating conflicts, entering wars, and messing up the village's people. So, when Hanzo got wise to them, he quickly contacted Danzo, asking them to deal with this. Let's be honest, guys. Anyone who aligns with Danzo to kill a group of ninjas trying to improve the village isn't a good person. Seriously. Then there's that classic scene where Konan is taken hostage, and Yahiko and Nagato, surrounded by ninjas from 2 villages, couldn't do anything. Yahiko sacrifices himself because of the deal that Hanzo would release Konan, but at that moment, we know what happened. Nagato's Rinnegan was activated at full power, and all the ninjas there were killed with their souls ripped from their bodies. But Hanzo managed to escape. However, he escaped only for a while, and that was the time Nagato created the persona, the pseudonym of Pain, to go after Hanzo and kill him and all his allies in the Village of Rain. That's when the Akatsuki starts changing more and more, as the original goal of creating peace was a bit distorted. And guys, when Yahiko was still alive, Obito, who became Madara, went there to plant the seed in Nagato's mind. All that talk about whenever there's light, there will be darkness, and pain and hatred are what move the world, never made as much sense to Nagato as when Yahiko died. And it happened as Obito said, Nagato would come looking for him, and Nagato did. That's when this new Akatsuki arises, a real criminal organization. Even then, Obito wasn't completely honest with Nagato, and kept things hidden from him until the end. When Pain reveals the Akatsuki's plan, he explains that the goal was to become the only shinobi organization truly powerful in the world. In the first stage, they would take mercenary jobs, make money, and expand the group. In the second stage, they would create an army working exclusively for the Akatsuki. Since there was a period of peace after the Third Ninja War, the most powerful villages couldn't afford to sell their ninja services for a very low price. It's like if Konoha were already a very famous company, and its services were more expensive. So, the Akatsuki would complete missions for much less money and much more service, making it obvious that over time, everyone would prefer to use the Akatsuki. Over time, the Akatsuki would also have the Bijus, collect them all, taking military power away from the villages and making the Akatsuki much stronger. The Akatsuki would also start and finish wars on its own, because one Biju can handle a regular army. So, the entire shinobi job market would depend on the Akatsuki, as they would be well regarded as those who worked better for the lowest price, cornering other countries. And in the end, what the Akatsuki would achieve was to be the only major military force in the world, much more powerful than any other. So any war would end easily, because the Akatsuki would decide who fights or not, creating peace based on fear. No one would want or be able to start a new war, because the Akatsuki would be so formidable that they wouldn't allow it. But you must have found this strange, because this plan is indeed strange. This plan was not the plan that the board of the Akatsuki had. Obito, Zetsu, and Kisame knew and wanted the other plan, which was the eye on the moon. But Madara's plan was so brilliant that it would convince Nagato to gather the bijus, thinking it would be his plan. In reality, he would be collecting the bijus for Obito to perform the infinite Tsukuyomi. The truth is that this little group within the Akatsuki each wanted something, and it was a chess game that Zetsu won in the end. Who would have thought, guys? So we can say that there were two Akatsuki from the beginning. When Yahiko died and Nagato went crazy, Obito took advantage of that to integrate Nagato's Akatsuki into his own goal. But the red cloud and the name Akatsuki were indeed invented by Yahiko's team, and the final goal of the Akatsuki was Madara's. However, Obito claimed that he had convinced Yahiko to create the Akatsuki, which was a lie. When Yahiko saw this guy calling himself Madara, he sensed that something was off and would never have agreed to join forces with Obito. The term Akatsuki means dawn and was meant to symbolize the end of wars, to dispel the red clouds that covered the village of rain and blood. Unfortunately, Obito killed Konan and made sure to ruin the last chance for this village to prosper. For those who don't follow Boruto, some time ago, Sasuke and Sai had a mission in the village of rain, and Naruto decided to allocate resources and efforts to improve the village's situation. In the end, Konan was right. Naruto was the piece and, in a way, brought about this dawn for the world that so many people had tried to achieve. If you enjoyed unraveling the mysteries behind the Akatsuki's creation and want more content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for exciting discussions, theories, and analyses of your favorite anime worlds. Your support means the world to us, and by subscribing, you won't miss out on any future content. Let's continue exploring the rich lore of anime together.